What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This review is beyond late. It's about a month late. This is Chasing Atlanta. I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about episode 1 and 2. I don't have no excuses why it's late. It just is, and y'all probably don't even care what I have to say anymore because we on episode 4 now. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about episode 1 and 2. Just to lay the foundation of what we're doing this season. We have a couple of new characters coming in. So episode 1, we getting caught up. Q is doing great. Q in the streets is doing his thing. We opened up seeing him hosting a pride event, and he's everything is great. He's got a new boo. We see Jaylon behind backstage, and Jaylon is there doing what Jaylon does. I'm just, again, I can't go scene by scene. But what I will do is I'll talk about what the highlights are. So here are the conflicts, okay? Jaylon Gardini from last season. We know where that left off. If you saw the reunion, and if you didn't, just go look at it and come back and let's talk about it. But we know that Gardini went at Jaylon really hard at the reunion last year. And as a result, some things happened during the off-filming time between both of them. We see a scene with Q and Jaylon at his store, at his salon. I guess it's a hair salon. Where he says that, and here's where stuff gets a little murky for me, y'all, so please excuse me. Gardini did an LLC in Jaylon's company's name, I guess because Jaylon didn't do it himself or didn't do it correctly. So he was able to, I guess, infiltrate it or whatever. No, infiltrate's not the word I'm looking for. He was able to, I don't want to use the word steal, but he was able to, I guess, steal the name. You know what I mean? Like, when we start getting into LLCs and all this other stuff, it gets real tricky. So, and what we do know is that Gardini is the king of fucking LLC. Now, that I can tell you. He king of finding somebody LLC. Now, he will do his homework. He will get his paperwork. He will come with the receipts. Now, that he will do. And it seems like that's what he did with Jaylon. He did some research and found out that Jaylon, I guess, was rebranding. And so he changed the name of his hair company. And whatever he changed the name to, he didn't do the paperwork on the LLC. And so Gardini was able to get it. And so Gardini and Q are friends. But Q was like, look, some stuff I can't defend. However, y'all got to just handle it because y'all both went at each other, basically. And then Jaylon had all his receipts out month by month to show how much money he made in the last, I guess, 6 months. And it seems like he is definitely making some money. Which I never doubted he was making money. I doubt his business sense. I don't doubt the fact that he makes money doing what he's doing. I think he needs to go to business school. And I'm not even saying that in a disrespectful way or trying to be shady or anything. But if you listen to him talk, he did a whole YouTube video explaining his business sense and all the different things that have happened to him business-wise and why certain things happen. I guess that was his way of explaining some of the stuff that Gardini brought up at the reunion. But if you listen to it, he's made some really bad business side decisions. He's a hustler. Okay? He's a hustler and he knows how to make a coin doing some weave. Okay? I'm never going to question that. The problem, though, is on the business side of it. So he needs to go to business school for himself. And again, that's not no shade. That ain't no read. That's none of that. That's real talk. Like, that's what he needs to do. And I don't even think he needs to hire somebody, because you hire somebody and you don't know what you're doing, you're still going to end up in the same situation because that person could take advantage of you because you don't know for yourself. All right, so that's what happened. That was that scene. And Jaylon was basically like, I don't want to have nothing to do with him, nothing to do with him, nobody around him, none of that. I don't need it around me. I'm trying to move to a better place in my life, and that's just that. Then we have a scene with Montel and I keep seeing their Instagram names. I was gonna say Accomplished One and CJ. I keep seeing their Instagram names, but Montel and Oh shoot, I know who I'm talking about. The one who the one who's the clothing designer had cancer last year. Oh gosh, I keep wanting to say CJ's Boutique because that's his Instagram name. Um, damn. But anyway, the two of them got to talking, and he's upset with Q because he felt like Q made some statements that were not appropriate, that were not true. Q made some statements that he helped take care of him, he paid bills for him while he was sick with cancer and things of that nature. And I'm just gonna say CJ, shoot, that's his name on his Instagram shit. He's CJ right now. And he was like, that's just not accurate, and I got a problem with that. I got a problem with, I feel like he's trying to make himself look good at my expense. Like, oh, I paid his bills. Oh, I did that. And he was like, you ain't do nothing for me. We also found out that he's celebrating a birthday. He's having a mansion party, which has been downgraded to a house party, where they're renting out a house, and, you know, which is cool. Sometimes people try to do stuff grand, and it's just as cool. You renting out a house and for the purposes of having a party, I'm cool with that. We ain't got to worry about breaking nobody's furniture. We don't have to worry about, when we used to have house parties at people's house, and they be like, all right, be careful over here, because if you break my mama china cabinet, we all going to jail. Okay, you can't go in that room, because that's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you start going to boom, 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 you know what I mean? Like, you, So renting a house party and having a party is cool. Now, Montel's situation is, Montel has never been about the bullshit, right? He gonna tell you how he feel. He gonna mean what he said, and he gonna stand in his shit. That's just it with him. And him and Jaylon fell out last year, and he just really don't have nothing for Jaylon. He's like, look, at the end of the day, I can coexist with whoever I need to coexist with, but I don't need to be around that energy. And whenever somebody says the word Jaylon to him, he like, who? Because in his mind, that person he gone. He doesn't exist. I'm done with him. So, I keep wanting to say CJ. Anyway, he's, he invited Montel. Montel was like, I don't know if I'm coming or not, like, for real. Now, we meet a new character in this, a new member of the show. I don't want to say character. A new member of the show, Lil Kendra, who is a transgender rapper. And we hear her tell her story a little bit about how she's had a hard time with getting producers. Producers are cool and they want to work with her until they find out she's transgender. Then all of a sudden it's, oh no, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. They find out that she has a manager who's like, I'm riding with you. I believe in your talent. I don't care. That don't have nothing to do with me. Like, you are who you are to me, and you are a talented rapper, and that's what I'm here to do. So respect to that man for that. And the song that she was singing when they cut to her, I actually liked. I was like, okay, like she was, to me now, remember, I'm old school. Okay, I'm an old school person. I'm old. But to me, I like the song. Now, so we met them. Then we met another group, and they are friends. They've come into the show, and it seems like they're going to be friends with or come into the show through CJ, and they seem cool. They seem like they do like R&B, and so they seem cool, right? So that's kind of what kind of went down in the first episode. The other thing we found out the last few minutes of the episode, and if you follow all these people on social media, none of this stuff is new information. But Gardini had ended up going to jail. Somebody called his parole officer, violated his parole. He ended up having to go to jail. Here's an example of our criminal justice system being some bullshit, okay? Gardini got into some trouble in Florida, running scams. He's never shied away from who he was in his past. He was like, scam, recognize scam, this is what I did. He was on probation. He was set to be off probation in something like a month. I mean, literally, it was like less than 2 months. I really think it was a shorter time period than that, but it was less than 2 months. He was set to be off of probation. Now, here's the problem. Gardini was wrong. By his own admission, he was wrong. He had gotten permission to leave the state of Florida to do the show Chasing Atlanta last year. And after the show wrapped, he never went back home. Which is what he should have done. He stayed in Atlanta. Somebody called his parole officer, let his parole officer know he's not in Florida. He is actually in Atlanta, living at this house, at this address, doing this, that, and the other. He got violated, and then they ended up convicting him, I guess. I don't know the right terminology, but I guess convicting him on the charges that he was on probation, not parole, probation. And so he had to basically plead to the felony. So when he had less than 2 months left on his probation, so in 2 months, everything would have been wiped clean from his record. Because he didn't go back to Florida. Now, he ain't getting no trouble. He wasn't stealing, fighting, robbing, nothing. They violated him. Now he's a convicted felon. That's the bullshit. I just feel like if somebody lived clean for 5 years, they were on probation for 5 years, and they did everything they were supposed to do for 5 years. Okay, they made a mistake. I don't feel like now extending his probation maybe, but violating him and then giving him the felony after 5 years of living clean, I just think that's excessive. But anyway, and that's the version of the story that I have, so I can only go by the information that I was given. Now, so that's where episode 1 sort of ends. Okay. Episode 2. Start off with Q in the streets again. See him doing some big things. He's going to be moving to FM. He's got some other things going on. Great. Montel shows up. Montel is going to be doing some rebranding this year. We know he has his line Fashion Killer. He's rebranding it. He's doing some new things with that. We meet another friend of his. Now, what I like about Montel was at first Montel started to say he's a friend. He's like, nah, wait a minute. He's somebody that I'm recently met that I'm getting to know. I was like, I appreciate you fixing that because I get so sick of people on these shows and when they bring in somebody new, they friends. Y'all ain't friends. Y'all just met last week, but it's cool. We know everybody got to be introduced somehow. So I want to say his name was Troy. And he's also, he does fashion. I think he's a stylist. And they met over the internet, liking each other's fashion, things like that. I didn't get the impression that there was anything romantic there, but maybe we'll move to that direction later. But it seemed like they really are just two people that like each other's work, decided to hook up, and Montel is kind of bringing him into his world. So Q was like, cool, I think that's great. I'm glad to hear everything. Q said, I'm trying to plan this safari trip. Now, first when he said safari, I thought they was going to Africa. Because, when I went to Africa, I went on a safari. That's what I was thinking. That's the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, they going to Africa? I'm like, that's a lot. That's a big production. But they're going to, I guess the Atlanta Zoo has a safari adventure type thing. Like when you go to Disney World, you go through Animal Kingdom. You go through Animal Kingdom. So that's kind of what it was. So he invited Jaylon to go. He invited Troy to go. He invited Montel, but Montel was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. And Montel was like, it's not just because Jaylon is going. He said, but I really do have something else to do that day. He was like, because Q was like, can't y'all just coexist? Y'all just can't be around each other. He was like, nah, we can coexist. But for right now, I really do legit have something else to do. So I might see him later. I might not, but that's what it is. He asked him if he was, oh no, that's later on. So that's kind of how that went down. So then we see Q also knows Oliver Twix, who's a new person on the show this season as well. And again, Oliver Twix has a large social media following. Him and Gardini are friends. Oliver Twix is also a rap artist, but it seems like he specializes in, I don't want to say parody raps, but I guess for lack of a better word, parody raps. Not Weird Al Yankovic type stuff, but he takes beats that we know and sort of raps over those beats like he did one for Money. It's the beat for Money, but he's doing his own rap. So he's not making a parody of Money, but he's taking that beat. So there's that. We see him and Q meet up and how, they talk about how they go back and how they know each other and things of that nature. And they have friends in common. There's another friend there that they have in common. And he invites Oliver to come to the safari. Oliver's like, cool, I'll be there, no problem. All right, cool. Then we see the R&B group I was telling you about. They're working with Lyric. If you remember Lyric from really the first season of Chasing Atlanta. He really wasn't on a lot of last season. He was sort of in and out. And then we found out later on he was having some personal struggles that he shared with us at the reunion. And so big up to him. Glad to see him on the show. Glad to see him doing well. I feel like he's not going to play a major role in the show. But he is around and it's good to see. It's good to see him doing well. But they went to him for a little court because he's a great choreographer. So he's helping them get ready. They have an upcoming video shoot coming up. Now, why I can't think of, y'all, it's irritating me that I can't think of this man's name. CJ, we just gonna keep calling him CJ till I remember. CJ's inviting everybody to come to his party. So the R&B group's coming to the party. He invited Montel, like we said. Q was invited, but no, Q wasn't invited. We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. Jaylon was invited. Everybody invited shit. So, we get to the safari. Honey. Jaylon shows up for this safari with this cute little blue bob wig, some heels on, and immediately gets upset because he was like, well, I thought it was just going to be me and, Q. So when he gets there and he sees Oliver and he sees Troy, he's like, well, first of all, who are these people and why are they here? Because I thought it was just going to be me and you. So when when Jaylon sees Oliver, now Oliver's saying in his confessional, hey, I've met Jaylon. We've had great conversation. I met him at the Gentleman's Ball last year. And again, if you follow Jaylon on social media, he took pictures. He did videos from that night. You know, it was all over the place. He was taking pictures with different people and stuff like that. And he said, I met him at the ball, and there was even pictures of him with Oliver Twist. He was like, and we were cool. He was like, then all of a sudden, Jaylon sees Oliver and is like, oh, hell no. You're friends with that other person that I don't want to have nothing to do with. Take this mic off me. I told them I wasn't going to do nothing dealing with that other person. He's talking about Gardini. And, you know, he walks off, and Q was trying to talk to him like, come on, what are you talking about? Like, he's not here. Like, get to know this person individually. It don't have nothing to do with him. No. He friends with him. Friends with him. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I ain't want to have nothing to do with that. So the two of them end up talking. Oliver ends up talking to Jaylon, and he was like, I don't understand what his problem is, because he said, he was like, what is your issue? Like, when I saw you at the Gentleman's Ball, we were cool. Well, all of a sudden now you got a problem with the fact that I'm friends with Gardini. And they weren't saying his name at first. They just kept saying that other guy. Because y'all know there was some drama about that, but we're not going to talk about it because he's back on the show, so they must have resolved whatever the issue was. So he was like, well, I just don't mess with him. My spirit right now, where I am in my life, my energy, I just can't be around people like that and anybody that associate with him. So then Jaylon going to say to him, well, what do you think? I mean, do you think he was wrong for what he did to me? And Oliver was like, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Like, I told him he was doing too much, but I can't control that man. That's a grown-ass man. I can't make him do or not do anything. Like, what are you doing? But Jaylon kept trying to get Oliver to be like, yeah, he was wrong, for what he did to you. Yep. But Oliver was like, I can't. That's a grown-ass man doing grown man stuff. I can't make him do nothing or not do anything. But they agree to go on the safari. So they end up going on safari, and they actually are having a good time, messing with the animals and all that good stuff. They're having a good time. So while they're on the bus, they talk about, should Q go to the party for CJ. And Cameron, that's it, Cameron. Isn't it Cameron? For some reason that don't sound right. Probably because I've been calling him CJ this whole review, but I think it's Cameron. So Q was like, nah, I'm cool. And Jaylon was like, oh, nah, but you was telling me that I need to put this stuff past me and I need to, blah, blah, blah. And Q was like, nah, this is something different. He was like, this is a different situation. This man tried to make it seem like, I never did nothing for him and that I'm just lying for clout. He was like, I went to visit him in the hospital. And now, I will say this. In his explanation, he didn't repeat the part about paying bills. He did repeat the part about going to see him off camera. Because that's the other thing Cameron said, was that he felt like that he just only came to see him on camera. But he did repeat that part and said, I went to go see him when the cameras weren't there. But I didn't hear him repeat the part about paying some bills. So, last but not least, we see Lil Kendra's having a video release party. And Jaylon was supposed to go. Troy was supposed to go. Oliver was supposed to go. Oliver's the only one that showed up. Jaylon and Troy backed out of it. And Oliver was like, okay, I don't know this woman. I don't know nothing about her. Jaylon was supposed to be there to introduce me to her. I was supposed to be the bridge for me to come in. And they done left me hanging. So, because he didn't get the text till he was already there. At least that's the way they showed it. So he gets there. Now, Kendra is all excited, talking about how far she's come in her journey and so forth and so on. Oliver walks in, and it looks like it's a bar, you know, that has TVs and stuff, maybe a private room. And he walks in, and he is unimpressed. He was like, this is supposed to be a video release. Like, there's nowhere to take pictures. Nobody greeted me. Nobody offered me a drink. When I went and spoke to her, she didn't offer me a drink. He was like, and then we sitting here watching a video that came out 3 months ago. Like, I've seen this video. How is a video released, and it ain't a new video? So Oliver, his face said it all. Like, he wasn't there, so he wasn't talking about nobody, but his face said it all. So once he got the text saying that they weren't coming and he was irritated about the whole situation, he was unimpressed with what he saw, he left. Well, once he left, one of Lil Kendra's friends said, you know, he was talking shit. He was throwing shade at you. So she was like, oh, for real? Let's go find out about it. So the episode ends with them walking out the bar, because he's out in front of the bar waiting for his Uber. Them walking out the bar to confront him. So that's where episode 2 ends. If I forgot anything, y'all, I will pick it up in episode 3. I apologize that these reviews are late, but I'm determined that I'm going to get them out. Again, I don't have no excuse. All I ask is for forgiveness. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.